Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today's story is one of American history, patriotic design, and unbelievable value. If you think coins are just coins, wait until you hear the incredible tale of a special half-dollar minted to celebrate 200 years of American independence. Yes, we're talking about the iconic 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with the Denver Mint mark, also known as the D-Bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar. This isn't just any coin. It's a coin that holds within it a legacy of revolution, honor, and something few realize: the potential for life-changing value. Let's jump into this fascinating piece of American coinage. Picture this: it's the mid-1970s. The United States is preparing to celebrate its 200th birthday. The air is electric with patriotic pride, and as part of the national celebration, the U.S. Mint makes a bold decision. They launch a special series of coins with dual dates, 1776 to 1976, to commemorate the bicentennial of the country. Among these is the Kennedy half-dollar, a tribute not only to America's founding but also to the memory of President John F. Kennedy, who had been tragically assassinated just over a decade earlier. The coin becomes a symbol of unity, resilience, and a nod to the American spirit of pushing forward, no matter the odds. Now let's talk about what makes this coin stand out, not just historically, but visually and materially. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar, bold profile of President Kennedy. His image is sharply detailed, proud, and forward-looking, just like the man himself. But flip the coin, and that's where the bicentennial magic begins. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the reverse features a beautifully engraved image of Independence Hall, the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Below it, the motto "200 Years of Freedom" boldly stands out. This isn't just a coin. It's a monument in your hand, but what makes one of these coins, specifically the Denver Mint version, so valuable? After all, millions of these were made. Well, here's where things get really interesting. Most 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars are worth face value if they're worn from circulation. Maybe a couple of dollars if they're in great shape. But in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and rarity within that condition is the game changer. Some 1976 D Kennedy half-dollars were struck with unusually high detail, using specially prepared dies for collectors. These are known as specimen strikes or mint errors, and they were not supposed to enter general circulation. Yet a small handful did, and they were preserved, mostly by chance, by individuals who recognized they were holding something unusual. These rare pieces have qualities that make collectors go wild: ultra-sharp detail, satin or frosted finishes, and flawless surfaces. Some even show off fascinating minting errors, like double strikes, off-center imprints, or die rotations, that make them one-of-a-kind treasures. And it's not just about looks. Rarity and demand drive price. And when a coin checks all the boxes: historical importance, pristine condition, minting anomalies, and collector interest, it becomes something much more than spare change. Now, this is where the story takes a truly incredible turn. In a recent high-profile sale, a collector's dream version of the 1776 to 1976 D Kennedy half-dollar shocked the numismatic world by selling for an astonishing price. This wasn't your average coin found in Grandma's cookie jar. This was a certified mint error in nearly perfect condition, and collectors were ready to fight for it. Are you ready for the number? That special Kennedy half-dollar, the bicentennial Denver minted beauty that once might have been worth 50 cents, was sold for $110,000. Yes, you heard that right. $110,000. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you're holding onto a bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar, or you happen to come across one with that little D under Kennedy's neck, don't spend it just yet. Check its condition. Look closely for anything unusual. If it appears uncirculated, shiny, or simply different from others you've seen, it might be time to get it appraised by a professional coin grading service. You never know. That small, silver-toned coin in your drawer could hold a piece of American history and a hidden fortune. Before you go diving through old coin jars or asking Grandma to dig through the attic, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. We're constantly uncovering hidden treasures, and who knows? The next valuable coin could be in your very own pocket. Top 2. We're diving deep into the world of American coinage to explore a seemingly ordinary coin that could be hiding extraordinary value. We're talking about the 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that many people have held, used, or even forgotten about. But what if I told you that one of these coins, yes, the kind you might find rolling around in your drawer or tucked away in a relative's old coin stash, could be worth far more than you'd ever imagine? Let's uncover the truth behind this underrated gem of U.S. history. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were mourning, and the U.S. Mint responded with a new coin to honor the beloved president's memory. From the very beginning, the Kennedy half-dollar became more than just currency. It became a symbol of hope, resilience, and remembrance. Now, fast forward to 1988. America was in a different era. The Cold War was coming to a close, the economy was shifting, and new technology was beginning to reshape daily life. Yet the Kennedy half-dollar continued its journey, quietly circulating across the country. The 1988 D version of this coin was minted in Denver, identified by the small D mint mark beneath Kennedy's portrait. On the surface, it might seem like any other coin. Made of a copper-nickel clad composition, it features the bold, confident profile of John F. Kennedy on the obverse and the majestic presidential seal on the reverse. It feels familiar. Safe. Ordinary, but here's the thing, some of them are anything but ordinary. Although millions of Kennedy half-dollars were minted that year, only a tiny fraction were struck under unique conditions that make them extremely desirable to collectors today. These conditions include mint errors, high-grade uncirculated coins, and rare die varieties, and it's these rare examples that take this humble half-dollar into the realm of serious value. Let's talk about condition. Most Kennedy half-dollars from 1988 have been in circulation for decades, showing signs of wear and tear from everyday use. But some coins, very few, were preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition. These pristine examples were likely saved by collectors, sometimes without even knowing their future value. Even more rare are the error coins. These are the real stars of the numismatic world. Picture a coin with a double strike, where Kennedy's face appears twice, or a coin with a dramatic off-center error, where parts of the design are missing or misplaced. These kinds of mistakes don't leave the mint very often, but when they do, they become incredibly sought after. Collectors go wild for them, not just because of their rarity, but because each error tells a unique story about how the coin was made. They're accidents, yes, but beautiful accidents that are impossible to duplicate. So what does this mean for your 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar? Well, if you happen to own one that shows signs of a dramatic mint error, or if your coin is in nearly perfect, untouched condition, you might just have something truly special on your hands. These coins are graded by professionals, services like PCGS and NGC, that evaluate every tiny detail, the luster, the strike, the surface condition, and any irregularities. And when one of these coins reaches the top of the grading scale, especially if it also features a rare error, its value can skyrocket at auctions. In fact, one incredibly rare 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar, in near-perfect condition and displaying an extraordinary mint error, did just that. It left collectors stunned when it hit the auction block and commanded a price that no one expected. So here it is. The moment you've been waiting for, that rare 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar sold for a jaw-dropping amount, $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. $85,000. A single 50-cent piece, worth more than many brand new cars. All because of its rarity, its condition, and the fierce competition among collectors who recognized its true value. Now, you might be wondering, could you have one of these in your possession? The answer is, maybe. It's time to check those old coin rolls, dig through your collection, and take a close look. You never know what treasure might be waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected place. If you find a 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Inspect it closely. If it looks uncirculated, if it has a strange strike, or something about it just feels different, get it evaluated. You might just be sitting on a fortune, and if you love stories like this, real hidden gems hiding in plain sight, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell. There's a whole world of rare coins out there, and we're here to help you uncover them, one incredible discovery at a time. Top 3. We're talking about the 2000p Kennedy half-dollar. And now, I know what you might be thinking, how can a coin from the year 2000, something so recent, possibly be rare or valuable? After all, wasn't the Kennedy half-dollar being produced by the millions? Wasn't it just another coin meant to mark time and fill space in your pocket? Well, here's where the story takes a fascinating twist. Because not all 2000p Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. And one particular version of this coin has stunned collectors with its mysterious features, unexpected rarity, and sky-high value. Let's rewind for a second and understand what this coin actually is. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the heartbreaking assassination of President John F. Kennedy. His image was chosen for the half-dollar to honor his legacy, and the coin quickly became a symbol of national pride and remembrance. For decades, the half-dollar was a common part of American currency, though its use in everyday transactions started to decline in the late 20th century. By the year 2000, Kennedy half-dollars weren't being used in circulation nearly as much. In fact, most of them were being minted specifically for collectors through special orders. The 2000p Kennedy half-dollar, minted in Philadelphia, was part of this new wave of coins produced more for collectors than for general use. It featured Kennedy's dignified profile on the obverse, along with the P mint mark indicating its Philadelphia origin. On the reverse, the powerful presidential seal, an eagle with a shield, arrows, and olive branches, stood strong as ever. Most of these coins were fairly ordinary. Millions were made. Most were well struck, clean, and somewhat forgettable to the average person, but then, there were the exceptions. A very small number of 2000p Kennedy half-dollars were struck with errors or under extremely rare conditions, coins that never should have made it out of the mint in the first place. Some had unusual double strikes. Others were made on the wrong planchets, meaning they were accidentally struck on blanks intended for a different coin entirely. A few were so sharply struck and preserved so flawlessly that they earned perfect or near-perfect grades from professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and this is where things start to get interesting, because in the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are everything. A standard half-dollar might only be worth 50 cents. But take that same design, give it a rare minting error, or preserve it in untouched, immaculate condition for decades, and suddenly you're holding a collector's dream. Think about it. How many 2000p Kennedy half-dollars do you think are still out there, untouched, in pristine condition, with minting anomalies that make them completely unique? Not many. These aren't coins you'll find every day. These are coins that slip through the cracks unnoticed for years, sitting in forgotten coin rolls, hiding in jars, or stashed away by someone who thought, this one looks a little different. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare specimens, your discovery could be worth a whole lot more than you expect. Collectors are always on the hunt for the unusual. They know that coins like this only appear once in a blue moon. When a 2000p Kennedy half-dollar with the right mix of rarity, condition, and error pops up at auction, the bidding starts fast and climbs even faster, which brings us to one of the most jaw-dropping moments in recent numismatic history. A flawless 2000p Kennedy half-dollar, exhibiting a dramatic and rare mint error, was recently authenticated and certified by a top grading company. It was evaluated, auctioned, and ultimately sold, not just for hundreds, not just for thousands, but for a staggering $55,000. Yes, you heard that right. $55,000, all for a coin that started its life as just another modern half-dollar. A piece of metal worth 50 cents, turned into a treasure by the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector passion. So now the big question is, could you be holding one of these? If you have a Kennedy half-dollar from the year 2000 with the P mint mark, take a close look. Is the design off-center? Is the strike unusually sharp? Does the surface gleam without a single scratch? Do you see anything unusual, like missing details or doubling? If so, it might be time to have it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. Because you never know when the next incredible discovery will happen, and it might be in your own collection. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's the thrill of the hunt. And that's why we're here, to share these unbelievable stories and help you uncover the hidden value in your change. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. There are more stories like this coming, more treasures to discover, more coins to investigate, and more secrets waiting to be revealed. Top 4. We're diving deep into one such modern marvel. A coin that many people have held, spent, or stashed away without a second thought. The 1992p Kennedy half-dollar. Yes, you heard that right. Not 1892. Not something ancient or gold-plated. This is a coin from 1992. A relatively modern half-dollar with a small P mint mark, minted in Philadelphia, that at first glance seems totally unremarkable, but sometimes appearances can be deceiving. Now, let's rewind for a moment. The Kennedy half-dollar has been in circulation since 1964, created just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was meant to honor a man whose influence shaped a generation. Since then, it's been a symbol of remembrance, leadership, and American legacy. By the early 1990s, the half dollar wasn't used very much in everyday transactions anymore. You probably didn't get one in your change at the grocery store, and most people barely noticed them. But they were still being minted, especially for collectors. In 1992, the U.S. Mint struck Kennedy half dollars at both the Denver and Philadelphia mints. The ones made in Philadelphia bear a small P just above the year on the front of the coin. Most were made of the standard copper-nickel clad composition, nothing special, just everyday coins. But here's where the story gets fascinating. While millions of 1992 P Kennedy half dollars were produced, a tiny number were struck under extremely rare and unexpected conditions. Some of these coins weren't just different, they were accidents, mistakes, anomalies, the kind of thing collectors dream of finding. Let's talk about what really happened. In 1992, the U.S. Mint also produced silver proof sets for collectors, beautiful, mirror-like coins made with special care, struck in 90% silver. These coins were only supposed to be made at the San Francisco Mint, but somehow, a few silver planchets, blank coins meant for the silver proof sets, made their way into the regular minting process in Philadelphia, and they were accidentally used to strike some 1992 P Kennedy half dollars. That means some of these coins, which were supposed to be everyday copper-nickel, were actually struck in 90% silver and released into the world looking like any other coin. Imagine that. A mistake at the mint. A silver coin where there shouldn't be one. Not marked in any obvious way. No fanfare. No special packaging. Just slipped quietly into a bag of other coins and sent out into the world. Most people who got one probably never noticed. They spent it. Dropped it in a coin jar. Forgot it ever existed. But for the very few that remain, those coins are now among the rarest and most valuable Kennedy half dollars ever struck, and there's more. Some of these rare 1992 P coins were not only struck on silver planchets, but they were also in pristine, uncirculated condition, never scratched, never touched, perfectly preserved. Others had even more unusual traits: double strikes, slightly off-center images, or crisp, flawless edges. These are what collectors call error coins or high-grade rarities, and they are incredibly valuable. So, how do you know if you might have one? There are a few things to check. First, the weight. A regular copper-nickel half dollar weighs about 11.34 grams. A silver one? About 12.5 grams. It may not sound like much, but to a coin expert, it's a massive difference. Second, the ring test. Tap the coin gently with another metal object. A silver coin makes a clear, bell-like ring. A clad coin? A dull, flat sound. Third, the color and luster. Silver coins often have a brighter, whiter shine compared to the grayish tone of copper-nickel coins. And finally, if your 1992 P half dollar looks different, feels heavier, shines brighter, or just seems off, don't ignore it. It could be one of the rarest half dollars ever minted. And now, here comes the moment that will blow your mind. One of these rare 1992 P Kennedy half dollars struck on a silver planchet, preserved in nearly perfect condition, authenticated by a top grading company, and sold at auction, stunned collectors around the country, because that little coin, born from a minting mistake and lost in circulation for years, sold for $78,000. Yes, you heard that right. $78,000 for a half dollar. From 1992. Something that could be hiding in a roll of coins from the bank, or sitting in your own collection right now. So don't underestimate the coins you already have. Check those half dollars. Look closely. Weigh them. Examine them. Because the next rare find might not be locked away in a museum, it might be sitting in your drawer. Top 5. We're uncovering the incredible secrets behind a coin many of us have seen, spent, or ignored: the 1973 Kennedy half dollar. At first glance, it's just a 50-cent piece. It's not gold, it's not ancient, and it was minted in large numbers. But here's the twist: not all 1973 Kennedy half dollars are created equal. And one extremely rare version of this coin has made collectors stop in their tracks, because it sold for a life-changing sum. Let's unravel the mystery. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy, just months after his assassination. It replaced the Franklin half dollar and quickly became a symbol of national mourning, unity, and hope. Americans embraced the coin immediately, and since then, it's been minted year after year. By 1973, the Kennedy half dollar was in full swing. That year, the mint produced these coins at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, those from Denver have a small D just above the date, and the San Francisco issues were mainly proofs for collectors. Here's where things get interesting. In 1973, Kennedy half dollars were not released for general circulation. That's right, most people never even had the chance to get them as everyday change. Instead, the coins were included in special U.S. mint sets. So if you wanted a 1973 Kennedy half dollar, you had to order a mint set directly from the U.S. Mint. That makes 1973 a bit of an oddball year in the Kennedy series. The coins were made, but the general public didn't get them. Fewer were handled, fewer were circulated, and that alone gives them a slight edge in rarity. But we're not just talking about a typical mint set coin today. We're talking about something far rarer. Something that happened by accident, and something that makes this particular 1973 Kennedy half dollar unlike any other. You see, in the world of coin collecting, a small error can lead to massive value. A die misalignment, a wrong planchet, a missing layer, or a double strike can turn a common coin into a one-of-a-kind collector's dream, and that's exactly what happened with this version of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar. In a very rare instance, a 1973 Kennedy half dollar was struck on a silver planchet, even though by that time, all circulating half dollars had been switched to a copper-nickel clad composition. The U.S. Mint had stopped using 40% silver for circulation coins in 1970. So finding a 1973 Kennedy half dollar with silver content is like finding a ghost from the past. But that's not all. This coin didn't just have a rare composition, it also came in nearly flawless condition. Experts graded it as MS, mint state, 67 or higher, meaning it was struck with incredible sharpness, luster, and clarity, and preserved without even the slightest scratch, nick, or handling mark. Imagine a coin struck 50 years ago, never circulated, never touched, and produced with a composition that shouldn't even exist. That's the perfect storm for numismatic greatness. So how rare is it, really? Extremely. The number of 1973 Kennedy half dollars accidentally struck in silver is believed to be less than a handful. Most of these mistakes were caught at the mint, melted down, or went unnoticed forever. But the few that survived? They become legends in the coin collecting world. Collectors dream of these finds. They search thousands of coins, study every tiny detail, and hope for that 1 in a million error. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar, struck in silver and preserved in mint condition, checks every box. It's rare, it's beautiful, and it tells a story no other coin can. Now, if you have a 1973 Kennedy half dollar, what should you look for? Start with weight. A standard copper nickel clad half dollar weighs about 11.34 grams. A silver one? Closer to 11.5 grams or slightly higher. It's not a huge difference, but it's enough for a trained scale to catch it. Also, examine the sound. Silver coins have a higher pitched ring than clad coins when gently tapped, and of course, the appearance. Silver has a brighter, shinier, almost white finish compared to the dull gray tone of copper nickel. Look closely. If anything seems different, trust your instinct and have it checked, because believe it or not, one of these extremely rare 1973 Kennedy half dollars, struck in silver and certified by a top grading service, made headlines in the coin collecting world. It went to auction. Bidders recognized its rarity. And what happened next shocked everyone. The final price, a jaw-dropping $100,000. Yes. $100,000 for a half dollar from 1973. A coin most people would overlook, that turned out to be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So take a second look at your coins. Open those mint sets. Search through those old family collections. Because somewhere out there, another hidden treasure might be waiting, and it might be in your hands already. If you love this story and want more rare coin discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss the next big find. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting!